Hey, what's happening, everybody? Tommy C here for some rapid fire, shot from the point news. I'm really sorry that I didn't get to do last week's rapid fire. To be perfectly honest with you, the weather was really good. It was the first week we were allowed outside to go to bars and restaurants. In fact, today I even went swimming. So I procrastinated my way out of it. I was just enjoying the weekend too much. So let's start it off right now and get through the weekend news. This one coming out of North Korea. Kim Jong-un, that dictator, says K-pop is a vicious cancer that merits work camp or execution. A very upset K-pop fan, Jody Smith, 236735579, responded with, "Is there a story in your crap statement?" And I responded to Jody, "Jody, you rocket scientist, the statement itself is the story. It's self-explanatory." And honestly, Jody, you and your K-pop fandom should be very, very ashamed of yourself, because the K-pop fandom's IQ collectively can't touch 3 digits. You lend legitimacy to this tyrannical dictator's views. Shame! Disgraced New York politician Anthony Weiner is going to sell his famous crotch shot as an NFT. Wait a minute, didn't that guy get put on a list for sexting minors? Why, yes, he did. Welcome back, Tony. As the entire T community begins to aim their entire nuclear arsenal against Gabby Hanna, I found this tweet very interesting by Nick Diorio. Last year, people started questioning the Onision videos being made by these weird 20 to 100K channels who promised jail time and circle jerked a lot. All of those people are gone now. How many people won't be able to feed their family once we start watching Gabby Hanna videos? Fun fact, one YouTuber we looked at last February, who covered Onision exclusively, quit Onision videos in May of 2020. After the Hanson videos cleaned up a lot of the community. In the year since, he's gained a grand total of minus 5,000 subscribers and lost all his views. Now, what Nick is saying for the neurologically impaired is the same people that aimed all their guns at Onision and made bold predictions are more than likely some of the same people that are aiming their guns at Gabby Hanna. If you follow the Onision story like I did in early 2020, and I covered it up until the point when I realized it was totally ridiculous, paid for it too, you know that Chris Hansen and the T community bobbled this story up, down, backwards, forwards, and screwed it up left and right twice over. There is no reason to believe the same community that has the exact same witch hunt mentality won't completely bobble, destroy, or hell, if there's any truth found out about Gabby Hanna being a horrible person, it might be overshadowed by bad journalism. Some of the people in this community actually still believe that there's an ongoing FBI investigation against Onision because Chris Hansen told them so. A year later, that fake, more than likely fake investigation has bore no fruit. And if you still believe that investigation ever took place, might I suggest listening to K-pop and moving to North Korea. Now, I know if you want Gabby Hanna's head on a stick, you're probably going completely nuts. And no, I will not be covering the Gabby Hanna situation in this video because, like most T situations, it's so completely convoluted and there are so many potential liars and mistakes involved that I really can't get to the bottom of it. But one thing I've noticed about this, and Bobax points this out perfectly, is Gabby Hanna is clearly mentally ill. Bobax says to a random T idiot, "You claim to be against harassment and then tweet directly at someone to call them an abuser." And he's making a greater point here. This is a community that is frothing in the mouth when it comes about talking about things like harassment and bullying and talking ill of the mentally ill or people with depression. But all those rules go right out the window when it's a target they want to shoot down. Now, you know who anybody that watches my podcast and me, Gabby Hanna's not off limits for criticism or even mockery for that matter. You can make fun of the mentally ill or bully whoever the hell you want in good old Tommy C land. But I do find it funny that the people that are grandstanding the most are absolutely the most vicious and relentless. In fact, they're actually more vicious and relentless than me, and I'm openly a vicious person. These people claim to care. and add that on to the witch hunt mentality, and add that on to the bad journalism, and what you have is a perfect clusterfuck. I really wonder where this Gabby Hanna thing is going. I do think Gabby is ill. I don't know if she's innocent, but it's going to be really interesting once the crazy Onision wheels get turning. I personally don't have a horse in the Gabby Hanna race. I don't particularly care about it. I think that this story is going to become, just like last time, more about the people that are involved in it than the target. And that's what I'm going to be keeping an eye on. The biggest story of the week, and we covered on Shot from the Point, is the breakup of the very popular YouTube podcast Frenemies. And there's been a plethora of back and forth between host Ethan Klein and former host Trisha Paytas. I try to keep these videos short, so I can't get into all the ins and outs between Ethan and Trisha Paytas. Most of the arguments come down to either money and or creative control and who's telling the truth and who's not. And the fact is, both of these people are terrible liars. It's just a relief to me that the cancel culture show canceled itself. As is well known all around this very world, I am a YouTube drama optics expert, and I'm sure a big reason you clicked on this video is because you wanted to find out who's winning and who's losing, and only Tommy C can give it to you straight. Well, I'm gonna give it to you straight. Winners are anyone with an IQ over 100. And unfortunately for Trisha, optically, she is the loser, taking heavy ratios on her videos replying to Ethan. And believe me, I know this podcast breakup game at this level more than most. And whoever gets saddled with the blame for breaking it up is ultimately the loser. And I'm not talking about who's objectively right and who's objectively wrong. I gotta be perfectly honest with you, when I watched a Frenemies podcast, I agreed with most of what Trisha had to say. It actually made the most sense. But she is seen as taking the fans' entertainment away. Nobody really cares about what you're going through, or they really don't care about your mental health. They just want to see a grandstand over it. And that's gonna be really rough. On the flip side, it looks like Ethan is taking a beating from the new TikTok crowd that he acquired. And I don't know if they're gonna be hanging around for, no, Ethan, I agree with you. Unlike the other girl, I agree. And while Ethan may end up the optical PR winner, he doesn't walk away from this unscathed. Trisha actually dug his career out of the dirt on YouTube, and those TikTok fans are money, and they're going to be difficult to lose. And I do not see them hanging around for a podcast that really seems like it's aimed at people in their 30s. Now to my favorite story of the week. As you know, I've been covering the Apex Legends streamer and YouTuber Watergot. Watergot has recently been caught DDoSing other servers to gain rank in Apex Legends, and when he was called out for that by YouTubers, this particular YouTuber, Thornton Smash, he took down all sorts of YouTubers' videos, including Thornton Smash. But what's great, and what I probably knew was going to happen, there was going to be a funny and happy ending to it all. I'll let Thornton do the rest of the damage.
Fun Thornton Smash here, and today we're going to be going over the fact that Watergot has continued to copyright strike me and other creators, leading to suspensions and even more. But there's repercussions for what he's done, because unfortunately for him, most of you don't know this, my wife works at Google, which owns
yeah. Now, thankfully, Thornton got most of his videos up, but make no mistake about it, Watergot went right for the throat. He actually filed 3 separate copyright strikes, which of course take Thornton's YouTube channel down. And he struck really bizarro things like things that were actually property of Respawn, who make Apex Legends, like their trailer videos. And he also struck, for some reason, I guess somebody told him this, he went to the Susie Lou Stijo School of Law, pictures of himself being displayed in Thornton Smash's thumbnails. Of course, things don't work that way. We've heard the spiel before from Susie Lou. I own the copyright to my face, therefore you can't display it in any context, or fair use doesn't count towards it. Of course, it does, and YouTube follows American fair use laws. Now, it's really funny because Watergot said to me that I shouldn't be so confident that these videos would come back up. And it's clear that he doesn't do his homework because me, Tipster, Nick Diorio, Okie RFC, get stuff up all the time. And if we don't actually end up using our connections to get videos back up, what we do is actually teach people how to deal with forced copyright strikes, which a lot of times is just calling their bluff. People like Susie Lou, Steejo, Watergot convince themselves of laws that don't exist, don't completely understand how these kind of things work, believe things about copyright and trademark that never existed in the first place, and continue to embarrass themselves. And I think the most important thing is people like Watergot don't get that they actually make money for people like me. And they've made a lot of money for the Apex community exposing them, hence the Susie Lou situation, because the fans hate it. The fans hate having their stuff being taken down, and when they find out there's no legal grounds for it, they really get angry, which gives us opportunity to educate people and rally people behind censorship and teach them about what fair use is and how to properly use it. So I do think the Watergot story has finally ended, and ended just like all the other Watergot dramas or controversies, with a big freaking F. In news that should be no surprise, Dream groveled and pandered to minorities to the point that would make most sane people vomit. That news should be no surprise. An article by Virginia Glaze of Dexterdo. Dream trolls fans with fake face reveal as catfishing rumors spread. Now, we have not made 100% confirmation, but my sources do tell me that there is like a 99.9% chance that the pictures you're seeing of Dream on the internet is actually him. And a lot of fans are pretty upset because the picture of Dream that we will not be displaying is quite rotund, to put it mildly. He is definitely not the person that is behind this particular Dream mask that you see right here, which kind of begs the question, is being, well, looking like a gamer bad for business? I'll be covering more of that in my future podcast, but there's another element to the story that actually interests me personally, and I wonder if it interests you as well. It comes down to, when is it okay to display a picture without doxing somebody? There's a much different standard for YouTubers than there is for people that work in journalism. For example, Dexterdo has displayed the picture in question, but if somebody like I were to do it, or Bobax has been criticized for doing it, they're going to get a big bunch of heat. Future heroin addict Lieutenant Cobra did display the picture and ended up taking it down. But in fairness to the future deadbeat dad, why is it not okay for him to break that story? This is his particular photo, and any other journalist. It's just a question that I want to pose to you. When is it okay? Is it okay for me to scroll down right now because Dexterdo covered it, or is it okay for me to break it? Or am I held to sort of the internet etiquette? See, I happen to have this crazy belief that there actually is and never was any such thing as journalism. And I personally don't believe that I am any better or worse than any other journalist covering the same things I do that went to a school or works for a trusted publication. We've all seen what legacy media can do, and a lot of times, I know a lot of you are here, you probably trust YouTubers' opinions and takes on things like pop culture and gaming and stuff like that, because the journalists, the guys who went to school, the legit guys, are so, I don't know, distracted with wokeness, distracted by virtue signaling, and in gaming situation, they sometimes don't even understand or like some of the things they're covering. So why am I held to the YouTube standard or really the internet standard or internet etiquette, and a journalist could, like, or Dexterdo can put Dream's face out? I think I should be able to pretty much do the same thing, but I can't, and that's just the rules. That's just the etiquette. Is the etiquette going to change? When is enough time went by where I can actually display his face? I'm gonna leave that to you, and I hope you actually answer that. I'm gonna be interested in what you say. Dream did seem to respond to the picture that is floating around that is allegedly him. I'd read it to you, but are you gonna believe a Minecraft cheater? I won't. Hey, while we're on the topic of journalism, I have a recommendation for you. This guy, Wiki, I hope I'm saying his name right, he did a 1 hour and 18 video on the journalist Taylor Lorenz, and really just the way she operates, and really what absolutely poor professional she is. But you know what? I wouldn't call her poor professional because there's no such thing as journalism. But no, really, check this out. I'm sure the Bros Wiki would disagree with me on that front. I just don't believe it at all. Very critical video of Taylor Lorenz, worth the watch. Taylor did respond. Well, we can't say for sure, but to me, it looks like the most transparent subtweet of all time. She's learning a lot from YouTubers. It's a typical, you're criticizing me, so it's something other than criticism. It's a crime. One of the most disturbing things on here is clicking someone's profile to block them for a rude comment and discovering their entire feed is dedicated to hating and harassing you. It's so deeply unsettling and terrifying. I wish people could understand how isolating it is to be a victim of these harassment and smear campaigns. The death and rape threats don't even bother me anymore. It's the stalking and the obsession. It's the way these people follow my every single move online. She went on. I know people are sick of hearing about this, but it's been so bad lately. I feel like I'm drowning and gasping for air while everyone else just swims along happily next to me in the water. Well, I am one of those people that swim happily wherever I go. And I'll tell you the secret to it. Ignore people. That's it. Just ignore them. I can't. No. Just ignore them. That's it. But here's the thing, that only works if people are doing this to the extent you're saying, which I don't believe. The other piece of advice is just, I don't know, learn to take criticism. 100K YouTuber Okie's Weird Stories had a video taken down by a familiar name. LOL, WTF, my video talking about Tariq Nasheed's documentary got taken down for hate speech. I appealed and it got rejected. I generally don't understand how Team YouTube decided this. Tariq Nasheed is extremely homophobic. The documentary I ranted about is as well. It's literally about how LGBT people and feminists are trying to make black people gay. So dumb. Just woke up and learned that the video was reinstated. Okie's very lucky if you ask me, and if you ask me, the only reason he got his video put back up is because he's black. I kid. YouTube's actually getting better about this across the board. They're acting quicker all the time, and I think it's great that Okie got his video back up because it's completely ridiculous that you could accuse Okie of pointing out bigotry and that actually being some kind of hate speech, and add on the fact that he's also of African descent. It makes it all the more ridiculous. I don't think it had anything to do with him being black, and I do think if he was white, it would also come back up because it's probably they probably all got in a Discord, let's flag it for hate speech, without looking into it at all. I know you know Okie from like the debate he had with Nick Diorio that didn't go so great, but and you might think he's a terrible YouTuber. He's not. He's actually a really great YouTuber, and I highly recommend his content, his videos, his movie reviews. They're very well put together stuff. He's higher tier as far as YouTube. Debates, not so much, but YouTube, definitely check him out. All right, I worked entirely too long, and I actually didn't even cover all the stories that I wanted to. Just to let you know, it's going on right now, TikTokers versus YouTube. We'll probably be talking about that on the podcast tomorrow. Apparently Deji got his clock clean, so I'll definitely be talking about that. So thank you for being a part of this very long rapid fire. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think. Sorry about last week. Well, maybe I doubled them up for you because I screwed up last week. Thank you very much. Have a good one.